Good evening, everybody. This is Wesley Lewis again. I'm really excited and pleased to be joined by our handsome young man over here this evening. He goes by the name of Kevin Julius. That's correct. Kevin Julius. Kevin forms a part of our area's neighborhood watches, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about his neighborhood watch and also about what they're doing, what they are planning, and so first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us here on Concerned Ward 14. Excuse me. It's really nice having you here. I'd like to start off with, can you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about yourself and also about the neighborhood watch that you serve?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity though, number one. My name is Kevin Julius though, and I'm residing in Blackheath in Greenfields though. And so recently, not so long ago, I was approached by some of the members they wanted to start a neighborhood watch in the community though. Right. And so they approached like a lot of people in our road, in Greenfields, in Groenberg Road, and in Botsmanskop too, because they wanted a lot of people to be part of the neighborhood watch though. I was eventually elected vice chairman of the group, and there was a treasurer and your chairman and a spokesperson and all those little things that needs to be on board though.
Very nice, yeah.
And then recently I was just moved into the position of chairman though, because the vice chairman had other obligations though, so he couldn't, so he rather preferred that somebody else step into his boots though.
Okay, I didn't know that we had the chairman in our midst, and so we really am truly honored, sir. Thank you.
So currently the neighborhood watch is there. It's established. We got our members, we got our executive, we got everything in place now. We went for the executive, went for the screening and all those little things via the police.
Oh, nice.
Which we waited quite a long time to be cleared though. We all are cleared from no criminal records and stuff like that. And so we now busy with the rest of the neighborhood watch or the members.
Two questions. I'm sorry,
yeah.
please.
Okay. To also be accredited, like so that because you cannot have a criminal record and belong to a neighborhood watch. So,
yeah, that was actually my question. I was actually going to ask. I never actually thought about what's it, accreditation or is it clearance?
No, clearance. Sorry, clearance. Yeah,
clearance.
Not accreditation.
Yeah. So I never thought about that. But tell me something. What is the dangers of having a violent criminal in your group?
I'm sure in our group I don't think there's anybody like that. But if you are a criminal and you're also part of the neighborhood watch, which means you can leak out a lot of things though.
Of course.
And that's very important, the inside information must be kept inside the community though, so that we can enhance a safer environment though. So if everybody else is now, or anybody else is going to know our plans and how we operate
and when you move,
there we go, and when we're moving, so they can
plan
around that. Yeah.
Understood. Okay. Wow.
So and
look, the more I start to cut up into this neighborhood watch thing, the more I start to realize, this is like nogals baie deep.
Yeah.
It actually goes quite far, like in depth, as far as intricacy and the complications that also arise.
Yeah.
Tell me something. Tell me what are some of the challenges that you guys experience in your neighborhood watch?
Currently, the guys in the mornings that's roaming around them. You don't know them. It's dark. The ends the reason we're always fighting with a ward councillor if the lightning is out. So that people move very early from their houses and they need the area to be secured. Though.
Yeah.
The wheelie bin guys that's walking around.
Ongoing issue.
Where I stay though, there's a bush at the back of me on the side where Belladonna is busy. The Sunral area there at the back. That forever I need to fight with whoever, with the health inspector, Mr. Adam Holster. I constantly fight with him to have that areas cut, keep it low and stuff like that. My thing is, why don't they just do it like on an ad hoc basis? Every 6 months, this field needs to be cut though, because You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Where there's bush and the Owens run in there, you won't be able to get them because they planned already though.
Yeah. Also,
Like
if you do chase after them, they
then you put your life at there we go.
They do trap you.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. And then with regards to the community, like what's some of the challenges that you have with it? Like, do you have some people coming out? Just let them make content.
You get that.
You know?
I recently experienced. You're a policeman. You must be a social worker. You must be this. You must be that.
The security expert.
There we go. And now the other night, not so long ago, we had also people coming to the neighborhood watch while we were walking. And this lady is always drunk, and she leave the children roaming around in the streets, so the young children asking for bread and stuff at the doors, and that's very dangerous though. And then this one lady took in these two children though. Hence the reason they called in the neighborhood was to say, look here, the children are safe. Call somebody, call the cops so that they can know. Because you cannot just take anybody's children and keep them there by you. That's kidnapping though.
Of course.
That lady can come tomorrow morning and say, but you kidnapped my children though.
For sure.
And also the police said, but you cannot take the children though. You can keep them here until tomorrow morning, but tomorrow morning they must go back to the parents though.
Right.
Because they are the legal guardian of the children though. So yeah, that's what I experienced now recently, and I'm sure there's more coming up as you continue doing the work though. And at night, at night on a Friday night, a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
Die mense gaan loop om bier te koop nog altyd by die huis and what even, and you know, and then things start happening and hulle is drunk and so on. Yeah, and that's well, we're surely going to have a lot of challenges still as it goes on, but that is now the main thing, the people that's roaming around and so on though. And we try to get a lot of people or the youngsters involved in the neighborhood watch.
For sure.
The moment they see us though in the park there in Greenfield, though, they disappear. They move on though. Know what I'm saying?
Do you think that that's because they don't want to be involved or because they're afraid? Because there's a stigma attached. Oh, yeah, he come a neighborhood watch.
I don't know what it is though, but the neighborhood watch is there to keep everybody safe though.
Yeah. You were saying that you only patrol 2 roads at this point in time.
That is correct. Currently, we try to mobilize only our streets though. And hence the reason it's called the Greenfields neighborhood, Groenberg Road neighborhood watch though, which is only the 2 streets though. So the less streets we patrol, the more efficient we can be. And also, we're also trying to make the other streets aware that nothing is happening there where we are though.
Yeah.
So try to mobilize people in your streets, join up with us. We currently not registered, but CPF knows about us now.
CPF?
CPF, that's the police forum.
Okay, yes. Okay.
They knows about us though. So when we do patrol, we phone in to say there's 8 members on duty, there's 5 members on duty, like that. Then you get a OB number. Which means you are on duty from that time until, and when we finish at 12 o'clock, we also phone them. We're now off duty though. And most of the time that I was now with the neighborhood watch, the times that I was walking though, the police do come around and say, are you okay? And they drive around in the area like that. So our main thing is also now to get the other streets also mobilized. There we go. Yeah. Where the things is happening, especially at the back there by Yusuf. There's a lot of break-ins, there's a lot of people that's phoning in the morning, there was somebody in the yard. But we this side, so if they mobilize whatever, things can be more safe on their side as well though. Yeah. Like that. So, and also very important, what we also have is the committee, and then we have the people that's in the houses though. So, if you don't want to walk, it's fine. Your eyes, and we all on the chat group. You just need to notify the booth, and and that one will come out, and you'll be enabled what's from your gate. Right. And just monitor. So
you don't have to for your warm trek and coffee and
100%. Although we do it on a Friday and a Saturday evening, but only if you're willing to come, you can come. If you're not willing to walk around, then it's cool.
Lastly, Actually, can I do second last?
Yeah, no,
okay.
sure.
Okay, second last. Second last question is, what happens if somebody gets caught in a yard? That's now okay. In die mense van die huis, the people of the house, got him now. Hulle het hy vloei.
Yeah.
Now they start to beat that guy on the property.
Well,
Because what I keep hearing is, yeah, I'm gonna join the neighborhood watch because dan kan ek mos nog legally die ons nou lekker bykom.
no, it don't work like that. There's criteria that's attached to the neighborhood watch though. And so the first things first, when you approach whoever, you don't approach him alone.
Right,
Always 2 or 3 people with you so that you can be safe though.
right.
And then also when you walk and do patrol, nobody can patrol alone now.
Yeah,
You must be in a group of more than 3, 4, 5 though, to patrol. And in that instance, I'm sure I never experienced that yet. But I know we're still going for training. We're going to set up that training though so that the current neighborhood watch, there is members in the neighborhood watch, in a group that went for a training already, which is also teaching us now how to do, what to expect and all those little things though. So I'm sure if we catch somebody in your yard or whatever and somebody saying that, we should be able to keep you until the police come down.
yeah.
And not do anything to you because we're not empowered to do anything to whoever
Yeah,
that, although we catch you in your yard like that. But you know how people is, they get very violent when they catch somebody in the yard.
But I think it's mainly because of two things. One, it's shock, of course.
Yeah.
So they're upset and they like, how dare you? And if you violate me, I
Yeah,
will violate
yeah,
you.
yeah.
But more importantly, I think it's a lack of information. It's a lack of understanding.
There we go.
And so this kind of forum really helps us to give people that kind of insight. Now later on in the program, we are going to have we did record last week, and so later on in the program we're going to have a full breakdown, or rather a full introduction by a gentleman called Samuel Simons, and he did the introduction to the neighborhood watch type of stuff, and I spoke to him earlier on this morning as well, and so so as soon as I'm done with this now, then we'll cross over to that interview. Lastly, Kevin, before I let you go, before I cut you loose, I wanted to ask you if you had a City of Cape Town fairy godmother, nah, what would you, and you said, here's a magic wand, whatever it is that you guys want, we can make it happen for you. What would you say to her?
Are you talking about our neighborhood
Your
or
neighborhood.
wherever it is?
Your neighborhood.
My first thing is the bush at the back where we stay, that needs to be cut on a regular basis and keep it short though.
Yeah.
And then also there's the lightning should be seen to regularly in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And also the guys that, you know, coming from the bush from Kleinvlei and they're walking through your areas, that needs to be stopped though. The dead ends needs to be closed up though. And hopefully now with the new development there at the back of me, I stay right at the end of at the road in Greenfields though. We used to stay on the hill though. I don't know if you know the hill there, the house on the hill.
No.
Now they was now dropped that hill now, and so everything is out level though. And
Okay.
I tell you, it's a massive difference though. Where we from that time until now, I myself and also 1 or 2 others try to stop people from walking through and doing this and doing that though. And you know the guys from Kleinvlei, they come into your area and they catch on all these different things though. Here we go. And that we try to minimize. You cannot kill it though. But you can make it very difficult for them. There's no way but you can try and make it difficult for them. And so that is basically, and like I said, as time goes on, you experience more, oh, now you must stop that again, and then you must stop that again. And also the very important thing currently that's happening, the cars that's driving like mild in the area, though. Why? Heaven alone knows at night. Pop a wheelie and, oh.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other night and thinking, you know, that it used to be old man's Sy het nou niks om oor te skel of om oor aan te gaan nie. But the amount of, like, the kind of danger that it poses for people, and not only for people but for children in the road, and the noise pollution. I remember like reading an article in the UK. They saying cars they can't be louder than a certain because they'll fine for you. And it's because it is indeed a nuisance. And so it's these kind of things that we really need to start to highlight and also petition for, to ensure that our neighborhoods become better places to live in, man. You know, better places for us to lay our heads down and sleep at night and to be peaceful. So I really thank you, Kevin, for coming to us this evening and joining us. And also, more importantly, I'd like to thank you for the amazing work that you and your team are doing in and around your area. I'm sure that through the medium of this video, it is going to encourage other people to also do the same. So if somebody wants to become a part of your Neighbourhood Watch or start their own Neighbourhood Watch, and they maybe just need to chat to you over a cup of coffee with regards to some advice, where can they get hold of you? Do you have are you on WhatsApp, or do you have a cell phone number?
I'm on WhatsApp, yeah, and they can ask anybody for Kevin Julius or Anwar Williams, so that's in Groenberg Road in Greenfields. Yeah. We'll be happy to assist, especially Anwar, that's very familiar with these neighborhood watches. So yeah, they can, and we will certainly be able to help them. Even that gentleman the other day that was sitting at the back, he was just sitting behind me. They also wanted to start a neighborhood watch, and the same like JP is saying now, 3 or 4 people start walking them. Involve the other people, that's right, you know, and it's difficult, but along the way, I'm going to make an example. This that stay opposite me in one corner, he was also just so tight up there. But it's not anymore. They broke into his house. And who had he to depend on? On the neighbors. Yeah. Now he's greeting the neighbors. He's waving in the morning. Because that's the people that's looking out for you.
That's right, yeah.
And so, be involved.
Yeah, get involved.
Get involved and just be there for one another. Without your neighbors, you're nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is how I feel.
Agreed. I love it. I love your sentiment. I love your vibe. I love your energy. And I look forward to working with you closely again in the near future. So thanks again to Kevin and to his team. I'd like to...
just one more thing.
For sure. Absolutely.
I'm going to take up JP's challenge. The ward councillor's challenge.
Yes.
And what's his name? Samuel's challenge.
Yeah.
Not on one go though, but I'm going to... So that the neighbors can see... Oh yes, JP's also here with the neighborhood watch, and the ward council is also walking with him. So you know, things is happening here.
Yeah, we need to boost morale, and I'll be there to record it. So thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, man.
So we cut over to Samuel Simons now. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us on Concerned Ward 14. As mentioned, my name is Wesley Lewis, and I'm joined here by an esteemed young gentleman by the name of Samuel Simons. Samuel, welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. We're really honored to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And also really, we're really excited about the kind of insight and information that and the depth of the information that's in this young man. Is incredible, and I can't say young because I know meer hare as wat ek het, and it's not so great. But listen, we had a bit of a chat now and just got to talk about the purposes for this specific information session.
Correct.
And also the information session that you gave last weekend Tuesday, which was so informative and really, it was so concise and helped to to position people's minds and to bracket them in the right space with regards to the neighborhood watches.
Yeah.
And so I want you to introduce yourself, tell us more about yourself a little bit, so that we can sort of place if he's a good guy or a bad guy. And then also tell us what you do.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the invite. My name is Samuel. My last name is Simons. I'm a community safety liaison officer working for the City of Cape Town. I am based in Area East, which obviously includes Ward 14, and it covers basically Kailicha right up to Kuils River, all the way up to Gordons Bay and everything that is in between. Up to where the boundaries of the City of Cape Town ends. I started off working for the city as a law enforcement officer way back 2010. I worked there for a number of years, and then while I was working there, I got the opportunity to empower myself with education.
Nice.
I received a bursary. I went and studied further. I did a bachelor's degree in traffic and municipal policing. Then I went over to traffic. I started working as a traffic officer in 2017. I was only there for a couple of years and until I applied for this current position. Now I'm serving the communities.
Lovely. That's really great.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me something, excuse me. Does your position and where you find yourself, does that come from a need to really help your community? Because you said now police, traffic, and now you're working now obviously as a safety liaison. Is that, so like where does that stem from? Like,
Okay, because of the situation of crime, crime brings more challenges. It challenges us to think and find solutions how we can lower the crime rate. Unfortunately, we've only been seeing the increase of crime. So we're trying to find ways and strategies how we can work together with the community, because fighting crime is not something government can do alone or the police can do alone. We do desperately need the involvement of our communities.
Yeah.
And obviously because of the past of our country, the police service has been reformed from being a service where they just come and act to being a service now where we can sit down with the communities and try and amicably try and solve the problems in our various communities.
I remember when the police was called the police force.
Yes, and now it's a police service. Yes.
So they are there to help service.
Yeah.
So before I get into the nitty-gritty of this neighborhood watch thing, I really want to just explore this idea of community involvement really quickly.
Yep.
And not as a neighborhood watch. I'm talking about as a community.
Yeah.
Now, I was talking to another gentleman who we will interview later on this evening, and he mentioned something that was very curious to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was very interesting that he mentioned it, but it went something along the lines of like people retaliate, like when somebody breaks into their house.
Yep.
Then people like retaliate by violence. Do you think that, and you also see on like WhatsApp or on Facebook, you'll see those videos, of sit hom gevang, nou slat hulle vir die man met die graaf of met die goedes of whatever. We think that community involvement is equal to that. As vang hy vloei, vang hom, en nou slat ons hom nou met die graaf en met die piksteel goedes. So that's our reference. My question to you is there a way that as a community, as the layperson, as the citizen, the regular resident, that they can actually involve themselves beyond just obviously beating up the criminals?
I understand because of the situation of the crime wave in our country, not just in Cape Town, but in our country today, people are frustrated. They're frustrated of being victims of crime. They're frustrated because of it stems more from just the crime, our economical background as a country, and as different communities. It affects the crimes also that is happening in our areas. When the people decided to take the law into their own hands, obviously it's not the right thing to do. We've got a Criminal Procedure Act that is there to deal with criminals, but unfortunately due to the volumes or the numbers of the cases, and if you compare that with policing personnel, I'm talking about policing in general, not just the SAPS, but the Metro Police and everything else, it does not add up, unfortunately. In a perfect world, you would love to have more policemen and more policewomen to patrol and to ensure our safety. But the ideal thing really is communication and to come or to call the communities together and to say, look, let's sit down and discuss your issues. And we can probably try and influence the Department of Justice, the decisions, or we can channel our complaints the right way. If you caught beating a person up and that person dies, unfortunately you're going to be charged for murder. You see, and that is not what our Constitution stands for.
That's right.
You know, but it's a case of being more involved into what happens in our communities, getting to know your police station commander or your sector commander, and to have an understanding as to how can we assist you with fighting crime in our communities. So that is what I'm trying to try and instill, not just in the neighborhood watches, but just in the communities in general, because we cannot solve crime by committing crime, unfortunately.
Of course. Yes,
so that is my stance on that issue.
Fantastic. I love the point that you were talking about when you said communication.
Yes.
It's about communication and about obviously information that gets passed through that communication. Now, last week you had I managed to record the your introduction to neighborhood watches and all that type of stuff. So I am curious to know if you were to frame last week's conversation or last week's introduction at the Blackheath community hall. Like, how would you frame it in a couple of minutes? How would you say, because we are going to play that video a little later now after this, I think. We are going to play that video where people can get a lot of detailed information, not only from you, but also from our safety and security minister.
Yeah.
Is it JP Smith?
Yeah, he's our MACO member for safety and security in the City of Cape Town. Yes.
So he also gave quite a few cool ideas and so on. But how would you introduce or like frame that talk?
Okay. My primary function basically is to assist communities and support communities in establishing and forming neighborhood watch groups. We believe, obviously, that the more the neighborhood watch visibility we can have, is the less opportunities we give to criminals to commit crime.
Yeah.
So the support that we give as the City of Cape Town is through training, it is through equipment, and it is through communication, actually, and through information to the various groups. And obviously, there's various avenues that we use, and the fundamentals or the basis of this is the Western Cape Community Safety Act, because the neighborhood watch is based, the concept of accreditation is based on the Western Cape Community Safety Act. The Department of Community Safety, Provincial Department of Community Safety, they are the custodians of the accreditation process, and we assist them in supporting the neighborhood watches to try and obviously make our communities safer.
Right. There was something I was going to ask you now. It's with regards to accreditation, and with regards to who is it that is going to be able to get funding and aid and that type of stuff. You guys mentioned last week that there's something that the accreditation process could take up to 2 years.
No, it doesn't take 2 years. It can take up to 3 months. But what happens basically is what delays the process or the concept is the non-compliance of the application.
Yes.
Which obviously means that the Department of Safety, the Department of Community Safety, they would have to reconnect with the applicant and advise, rectify this or rectify that. If an application is compliant, one day every month, there's an adjudication process that takes place. Okay. So if the application is compliant, it goes through the adjudication process, and if the process or the application has been recommended, then it gets sent off to the HOD for signature, and that is when the group gets accredited.
And this is all in an attempt to weed out the people who are sort of here today, gone tomorrow?
Yes, what we try and establish is we need to understand who you are, we need to know who you are, We need to understand what is your intentions, where do you work, and the type of obviously personalities we dealing with. Obviously, you wouldn't want to. Yes, you don't want a situation where you're going to have a criminal, because you know people, they take chances. Believe me.
No, for sure.
You know, if they can infiltrate any place or you know, wherever they can to get information for their criminal deeds, they'll do that. So that is what we try to avoid.
To get the inside loop.
Inside loop, that's correct. So what we try and do is we try and establish if the person has a criminal record, and all those things are being discussed at the panel, of which I'm part of the adjudication panel, fortunately. So I can also come back and explain thoroughly to Neighbourhood Watch groups as to what it is exactly that we want you to do and what information we would like from you to enable you to obviously qualify and receive the accreditation status.
And then also to help to facilitate them reaching that.
That's
reaching
correct.
That
yes, I've realized there was a huge gap in knowledge and understanding the process. So by getting information, I can also come back to the different groups that's applying for accreditation and to furnish them with that information.
I love it. Do you guys do like skills development with regards to, if you do approach, like if you do maybe corner somebody, you go like 2 or 3 together, or do you do like Krav Maga fighting styles and you know, like hand-to-hand
I will admit that the Neighbourhood Watches have evolved more than just being the eyes and the ears, but obviously due to COVID, now more especially, we try and avoid people from having close contact with who they think or alleged to be up to no good or wanting to commit a crime. There's always strength in numbers. So if you are a good number, obviously within the laws and the regulations of COVID, it is always not to approach a situation, you know, maybe 2, 3 or a few. You know, if you can be 5, 6 or even more, then it's even better. It will prevent the other party from having an opportunity to think that they can, you know, harm you or something. You see, actually, when you more. Try, yes, that's correct. Yes.
Okay, so this morning I got a message from our ward councillor because I did the poster.
Okay.
So you guys will see what that looks like a little bit later because that's not out yet. Okay. But she apparently spoke to you, and she messaged me this morning saying, "Listen, is there any way that we can put one of your phone numbers on the pamphlet, because you know Samuel is obviously busy with other things, whatever, he can't deal with all the influx of phone calls that's going to happen if we give out the flyers now." My knee-jerk reaction is like, I'm not getting paid to do this. Excuse me. So I'm getting paid to do this. I haven't been put in a position to actually answer all of the queries, because I do film and advertising. That's my job. I'm literally taking my work time right now to actually do this. And then also with regards to the Neighbourhood Watch gentlemen, like let's say Peter Fuller or Kevin Julius or whatever, those guys also have day jobs and they do Neighbourhood Watch in their spare time and in their own personal capacity. Who would you? So she asked me, do I have any suggestions? And my suggestion is, you can take the phone calls. So at the risk of being disrespectful, of course, and I don't. That's not my intention. I'm just trying to be lighthearted about it.
No problem.
But for me, it's how does people get a hold of the information? Like, who do they contact? Who is the go-to person? Is it our ward councillor or is it Peter Fuller, as an example?
What we try and do is we try and localize policing. Neighbourhood Watch is policing. You're policing your neighbourhood.
Yes.
Although obviously not in an authoritative manner, but you're policing it as a community.
Yes.
I would advise if you in your community you look at establishing a Neighbourhood Watch, you can convene. You can nominate one person that can be the liaising between your group and myself or the ward councillor. And that's obviously to avoid because I'm obviously not in a position to answer my phone all of the queries or things happening in the area, and to have a local there that will liaise between myself and that particular person. I have a person that knows the area very well, because I might not be familiar with some areas or some landmarks within the area. So the idea is basically to have a group of people, to come together and to nominate one person. Then I can liaise with that person, and that person can also be the liaising person between that group and myself.
Quick question. You said earlier on when we were just having a chat, you said that there's about 4 registered neighborhood watchers in Ward 40.
That's correct.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the chances? Okay, so if we can, so obviously I'll be able to get all of the details, and I'll be able to put it also up into the screen and so on, so that if they fall under your area, then you can contact those individual people, and I'll make sure that I send it out, and that's fine. But my question is, can Ward 14's neighborhood watchers amalgamate? Yeah, do you see my quite word? That's a big word. So can they amalgamate under one body and still operate autonomously, of course, because they understand what the areas require. But is there a way that they can sort of like amalgamate and create one Ward 14 neighborhood body that speaks to you, let's say, for example? And then say, right, okay, we got our instructions and we are 4, so the budget of, let's say, 10,000 Rand or 100,000 Rand gets split into 4, and we can distribute it accordingly like this. Or maybe there's a greater need over there, we can subsidize our own stuff over here or whatever. Is that an option? Was that tried already? Will it work? Will it create more problems?
I think from an operational perspective, it will be pretty difficult to manage. What you want is you want groups in different sectors, but as the saying goes, different strokes for different folks.
Yes.
If you or if the groups in the area they can combine. And they decide they want to form one huge neighborhood. It happens in some areas where you've got one neighborhood watch groups with over 800 members.
Wow.
And if they decide they want to do that, by all means, obviously, in terms of the Western Cape Community Safeties Act, they would have to look into the Constitution, into the Code of Conduct as to what they can do and what they cannot do. And then they can form one neighborhood watch. But ideally, you would want a response in different locations of the neighborhood watch. And because the ward is so vast, you don't particularly know what is happening in Langverwacht, and Langverwacht don't particularly know what's happening in Gailey or in Blackheath. So having it localized, it helps in one way. Unless there is a problem. What I would have to understand what would be the reason for them to come together and to amalgamate. Because if it's for operational reasons, then I can't see how that would work if the smaller groups in the areas is not working. You see. So, but it's entirely up to the members themselves if they can come together and say they want to amalgamate. It's just that there's a certain procedure that they have to follow, as well as when you apply for accreditation, you identify the boundaries in which you will be operating for administrative reasons. So you're going to be working in that boundary. However, there's nothing stopping you from having a joint operation in collaboration with another neighborhood watch and working together. Maybe if I mentioned crime mapping earlier on.
Yes.
There are certain hotspots and certain things or activities happening at that hotspots, and you feel that you're better off in a bigger group addressing those issues. We're all happy with that, But the forming of individual groups is just for administrative purposes. For operational reasons, they can work together.
I think it's the same reason why
to make the area safer.
Yeah, I think it's the same reason why there's a police station in Kleinvlei.
That's correct.
Police station in and a police station and a police station.
And then you've got 4 sectors, or at some stations there's 6 sectors. It's part of sector policing, which talks with community policing.
I got you. That makes perfect sense. Okay. I don't know if I've covered everything, but I didn't want to take too much of your time. I just really want to kick off this conversation because I think it is a bit of a sore point with a lot of people that saying there are no neighborhood watches in our area. I've heard of a lot of people saying that there's no neighborhood watches in Denemere. And Denemere's neighborhood watch has been continuing for 6 years now.
They're quite active, yes.
Active for 6 years. And a lot of people are saying they don't say, doesn't dat alles buite as jy slaap?
Yeah.
Terwyl jy slaap, stap hulle nie rond en hou op hom. So, okay, lastly, the efficacy of how effective is Neighbourhood Watches really? Or is it just a fun club for a bunch of guys that have got insomnia to come together and to have coffee and to talk nonsense?
The effectiveness of the Neighbourhood Watch is measured on the crime of the area. I can definitely tell you that we've had, I think, Saldanha, the municipality there, we've had a visit from them because they would like to know what is it that we are doing in the city of Cape Town.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned earlier, that the Constitution and the Code of Conduct and the application is based on the Western Cape Community Safeties Act.
Yeah.
It means obviously it only applies in the Western Cape, the particular act.
Yeah.
So there is nothing better than having your own community, you as a community member policing your own area and having a very good understanding with the police or the sector commander of your area. And I mean, crime is at such a level that we need a Neighbourhood Watch in every area.
Yeah.
You know, people that would say that the Neighbourhood Watches are not visible, my advice to them is make the Neighbourhood Watch visible and join them and be visible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about, and as we mentioned earlier that the people, they sacrifice their own time. Nobody's getting paid to do what they're doing. It is just taking that ownership and responsibility to look after your own area and work together with the South African Police Service and all the other safety and security role players in your area.
Fantastic. I'm sure that we can really talk for another 2 hours about all the cool training and the different type of stuff, the drones that some people are wanting to use and body cams.
Absolutely.
And what's those cameras that they put up?
LPR, license plate recognition cameras.
You see, night scopes in like pellet, like what's it, gas guns and pepper spray. Ons kan al dat tipe goedes nou opraat. But that will be a part, I think, of if you want to join up with your Neighbourhood Watch, you can find out all those details and all those cool stuff for body cams and goedes. Excuse me. So I think I want to end off with an appeal to our community, especially in Ward 14, to actually join up with your local Neighbourhood Watch. It doesn't have to be walking at night. You can keep an eye out and be on the groups and just be able to say there's movement, there's a car over here riding up and down and that type of stuff. But all of that details you guys will be able to find if you join up with your Neighbourhood Watch people, and they will contact the office with Mr. Simons and with obviously the Office of Safety and Security. Excuse me. So once that happens, then you guys can have a lot more details and a lot more information that will come from there. But for now, I want to say thank you to you, Samuel Simons, for joining us. We look forward to doing our walk with yourself and with JP. We will definitely set it up and we'll do the recording just to show people that we are indeed active and that we are busy and that we are trying to bring our community up to a certain level of standard that we can be proud of and that we can know that we are safe. Know that we are, and not only safe, but we are partaking and that we are actively partaking in the safety and security of our communities and also the crime prevention as well. So thanks again. I really appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Very much.
And I'll see you soon.
You're welcome.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Cheers.